check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mic check. This is mic check from the state dining room. Okay, malt's coming up.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, accompanied by National Association Letter Carriers member Annette Taylor.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. My name is Annette Taylor. I am a wife, mother, Air Force veteran, and retired union letter carrier. I delivered mail for... Thank you. I delivered mail for 32 years as a proud member of the National Association of Letter Carriers. Service to our communities and service to our country. That is the spirit of letter carriers. In recent years, while our folks have delivered mail and other essential parcels and packages during the COVID-19 pandemic, we've confronted instability and uncertainty, just as our patrons and customers have. They longed for better circumstances, and so did we. NALC is proud to have contributed to the efforts over the 12 years that resulted in this bipartisan legislation that brings us together today. This legislation will help position the United States Postal Service to provide the service that the American people deserve. The late Congressman Elijah Cummings, my friend and fellow Marylander, worked relentlessly for many years to pass postal reform legislation. Today, his efforts will be rewarded thanks to President Biden and bipartisan support. Mr. President, the Postal Service is an essential facilitator of our democracy and our economy. We know there is more to do to secure long-term viability, but today is a huge step forward. Thank you for backing American workers. My union stands ready to assist you. God bless you, and thank you for signing this bill.
You know, Annette, as you were speaking, looked down at Senator Carper, who used to be chairman of this committee. How many years, Tommy, you working on this? 400. I tell you what, your service both in the Air Force as a letter carrier is real, and it's all about serving your community, and I appreciate it very much. Matter of fact, when I said, it's good to meet you, she said, I know you, we've met before. I said, I apologize. She said, you used to show up in Wilmington. Well, how often?
In D.C.
Oh, in D.C.
Every year.
Every year I'd show up to letter carriers, breakfast or lunch or dinner, I don't remember which. But it reminded me why I think foreign policy is easier. War and peace goes down easier, Jerry, I think. Senator Peters, Senator Portman, Senator Carper, Senator Tillis, Representatives Maloney, Comer, Conley, and Virginia Fox, and Stephen Lynch. Stevie, good to see you, pal. I didn't know you did post offices. And Brenda Lawrence, who served the U.S. Postal Service for 30 years before being elected to Congress. Which was harder? Well, look, some of you know, before I became president, I'm sure you all know this, I was the Ben Franklin Professor of Practice at the University of Pennsylvania. Professor, Jim, you know. And everybody walks in, they wonder why Ben Franklin's picture is hanging in my portrait's hanging in my office. Because if I didn't put that off, there'd be nobody I knew would get into the University of Pennsylvania again. I'm only kidding, that's a joke. But Ben Franklin, one of our founding fathers, was our first Postmaster General. And he saw the Postal Service in a way to connect the colonies and to build together as one nation. I mean, literally, that's what it was seen as. It was to connect the colonies and build one nation, connect everything. He saw the power of the Postal Service to deliver more than the mail, but some of our most basic freedoms and basic rights were delivered by the Post Office. Freedom of speech by allowing citizens to voice and to their voices to be amplified all across the country. Freedom of the press by offering discounted rates for newspapers. The right to privacy by expressly prohibiting, this sounds silly, but expressly prohibiting the opening of mail that belonged to somebody else. And beyond those rights and freedoms, our oldest postal roads helped give rise to some of our nation's most essential infrastructure. There were postal highways. That's why a lot of these roads were built to provide postal. And by the way, we used to serve with a guy who was from West Virginia, Jennings Randolph. And he started an airline. But the way the airlines used to work was there'd be a great, Tommy, they'd put up 2 big poles like goalposts, and they would put a wire between it, and they'd hang whatever the postal service, the post mail used to be collected, and the airplane would come down with a hook on it and pick it up and take it off. So, you know, I'm not going to say if Jennings were here, he'd say there'd be no post office out there. But anyway, I'm only kidding. But today, more than 675,000 dedicated women and men of the U.S. Postal Service continue to deliver for the American people. They keep us healthy by shipping 4 million prescriptions per day, 4 million per day. And when we're dedicated, when we dedicated to send and committed, we would send to free to COVID-19 tests directly to people's homes. The Postal Service stepped up to make that happen as well. And now they've delivered over 320 million COVID test 19 kits so far in every state, territory, and U.S. military base in the world. Impressive turnaround or an unprecedented task. It's continuing to truly heroic service that they provided throughout this pandemic. When everyone was worried about the supply chain delays would ruin the holidays, the Post Office delivered the packages that were more than any other shipper in the world, and they got the gifts to our homes and our loved ones on time. And the Postal Service is central to our economy and essential to rural America, delivering mail and packages between small businesses and customers every single solitary day. And the deliveries, and delivering seeds and even live animals, often to parts of the country that private carriers can't or won't or aren't required to reach. And there is another essential thing the Postal Service delivers: your vote. In 2020, 43% of the votes cast by ballot were cast by mail. On average, it took those ballots. On average, it took those ballots less than 2 days to get from the voter to the election office, faster than the average delivery time for first-class mail. So it's no exaggeration to say that the Postal Service delivers democracy. And there's no exaggeration to say the Postal Service is essential as it ever was, has ever been today. In 2006, the law required Postal Service to prepay retirement benefits 50 years into the future. No other company or federal agency has do anything like that. And the requirement of that law stretched the Postal Service's finances almost to the breaking point, and with real consequences. There are stories of people across the country getting hit with late fees because their credit card bill arrived a week late, if it arrived at all. Small businesses on the verge of collapse because payments they were counting on were severely delayed. Elderly Americans suffering because they had to go weeks without their medication. I, like many of you, made a campaign promise to fix this. And today we are. You all, the members in front of me, did all the work. I made the promise, you did all the work. And I'm glad that strong bipartisan majorities in the House and Senate have come together to deliver on this needed reform. With this bill, we're repealing the pre-funding mandate and setting the Postal Service on a more sustainable and stable financial footing. We're guaranteeing that the mail will continue to be delivered 6 days a week, and the bill increases transparency by requiring the Postal Service to develop an online public dashboard, updated weekly with local and national service performance data. You'll be able to see in real time how well the Postal Service is delivering for you and for your community. And this bill streamlines health care for postal workers as well. They deliver for us, so through rain and snow and sleet, and we're making sure that health care they need will be there for them as well. And finally, this bill will allow the Postal Service to partner with state, local, and tribal governments to offer valuable and helpful non-postal services to the public. Imagine a trip to the post office where you can pick up your bus pass or your hunting license or your fishing license. Of course, there are more areas where we want to see the Postal Service leading. For example, it needs to do more to modernize and electrify its fleet of vehicles to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and to save money. We're going to do that. And I'll continue to fight for these common sense improvements. But today, we enshrine in law our recognition that the Postal Service is fundamental to our economy, to our democracy, to our health, and the very sense of who we are as a nation. And this bill recognizes the Postal Service as a public service, and we're ensuring that it can continue to serve all Americans for generations to come. Now, I'm now going over and sign that postal bill, and those of you who are going to come up while I sign it, I'm not going to read out your names. They told me who you are. Everybody but Steny can come. Only kidding, Steny. And we'll get this reform bill finally signed. And Tommy, it only took, what, 11 years? 12 years. Rob, that's pretty fast, right? Anyway, all kidding aside, thank you for the hard work you've done. You've done a good job. Let me walk over here. By the way, instead of handing out pens today, you know you ought to get these pens.
Randy, you're there. Nice.
You ready?
You're so ready.
I told her it'd be nice to you and still vote for you. All right. All right, it's official.
All right.
Anyway, rest members of Congress, thank you. All right. That's another good thing. You did. We did get together. Yes.